Conditions here today, living the dream. Or at least, that's where I am. I'm here in St Helens to watch the next round of the Super League where Warrington Wolves go head to head. Top of the table clash. Well, Saints aren't there. Actually, this is a bit inappropriate. I should really change the angle. Yeah. Sculpture was commissioned after the old Sutton coal mine completed or finished. From earth comes light. That's the message given from that colliery back in the day. Not a bad idea. The guy who designed that, commissioned it, artist, was from Catalan, where I was last time. So, a bit of a link there and a bit of a segue. I have to say, this trip, I haven't had much luck. Little drone, filming drones. So this is based on a 9-year-old's head that's been elongated by a third. And it's to give hope to future generations. It's situated in Bold Forest Park. Bit of a green oasis, quite near the M62. A nice little walk. Stretch the legs before tonight's game. Just notice how close we are to Widnes. You can see Fiddler's Ferry over there. No doubt this colliery would have supplied that at one time. Saints supplying Widnes. So we've just been having a discussion with, what's your name, sir? Stuart, who's just got himself a £450 drone that he's just trying out. And St Helens fan, would you say?
St Helens fan, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So what are you thinking about the match tonight? You've got a score that you might think?
It's going to be a good match. I would say let's go 22-6 tonight.
22-6? That is to St Helens, you mean?
To St Helens, of course.
All right, well, thanks for that, Stuart.
Lovely. See you at the match.
Yeah, and good luck with the old flying. Are you taking that to the match?
Of course.
It might help with the video ref. You know, it makes me think about that being for the next generation and giving hope. I think about rugby league and what's going on at the moment with IMG. They're not evolving. And so far, I've had very limited help from the powers in rugby league. Castleford the exception. As a Tacklebag idea, I think every club should have an affiliated YouTube fan channel. Yeah, that's my Tacklebag idea. Time to go back to the van and enter St Helens. One thing to note when you're walking around this park, make sure you know which direction you came in, because I think I'm lost. Oh God, I have no idea which way I came. St Helens, of course, famous for glass making back in the day. They now have a World of Glass museum and gallery, so when in town, let's go and check it out and take a look through the looking glass. Look. Ooh. Echoes. Nothing's open. Nothing open in the glass house. Can't even get a coffee. Interesting. $1,200 hand-blown droplets of clear smoke grey amethyst lead glass, individually blown by Bruno Zanetti. Got his work cut out. I don't think there's much open. That reminds me of my Chippy. In fact, that looks like my sister over there. I get the feeling everything in St Helens today is closed or shut or not welcome. It's weird. Some kind of medieval contraception. Oh. Tunnels and furnace. The lady said everything is open in July, and that'll be glass blowing demonstrations as well. That'll be worthwhile coming to see, I think. Ooh. It'd be good to get close to that.
Well, the next tank furnace was a success. Was too short to get rid of muck that came with it.
Tried to mime there, but it didn't work.
That is really a grand idea.
Let's go to the tunnels. The HOTTIES, or the St Helens HOTTIES. Apparently, from the glassworks, all the excess water that they used in the to cool the glass making was fed back into the canal, and they actually had sprinklers, and it was like hot water, and everybody used to jump in there. So you can see underneath. I am bending down. Suggested route. Be like me going back to the van later. That's the tunnel tour. Vitrified. 1887 they got the main glass window furnace going, 2 years after Rugby League was born, I suppose. On a Saturday, the chimneys used to choke up with tar, so they used to set fire to them to clear them out. The whole place would turn into a dark, smoggy town. It's a little bit different today. Thomas Beecham was born in St Helens, and he was born in a house adjoining the Beecham's Pills laxative factory, founded by his grandfather. And he went on to conduct and play music. Well, at least he didn't shit himself. Well, somebody had to say it. Well, I made that Beecham's joke just as a lady was walking past, and I think all she heard is that shitting myself or something, so she just gave me a bit of a funny look. Let's move on. So this is where the HOTTIES are. Not her. It's not that kind of video. Over there you can see the pipes and the sprinklers that used to shoot out the hot water into the canal. So on a cold day you could have a shower. In the background, the new Pilkington factory, I think. Over there. And the old one here where I've just been for a look round. Yeah, it's a lovely little area, this. Nice to go for a walk right through the middle of town. I think through that tunnel is the way to the ground. But I'm off in that direction to the Transport Museum, which I think is closed. Another thing that's closed. Everything's closed off in St Helens. I have noticed a lot of green fencing and CCTV. I don't actually know where I'm going to camp out tonight. I'm a bit concerned that it's like Big Brother watching me all the time. The Workers' Memorial. No one's left that spade there. Although that spade might be useful to pick up all the Canadian geese shit. So I just trod in it. Another bit of sculpture there, at least that's still there. Not like in Castleford and the Henry Moore had disappeared. So you got the town there, down there. New buildings and industrial and so on. And right snug in the middle of everything is this Friends Meeting House, which happens to be the oldest building in St Helens. Apparently James Roby's been living in there since it was built in 1593. this boulder. I have literally got nothing on that boulder. What I could say is the boulder there was had been dug out the ground for the foundations of Knowsley Road. I think it's shut. Spent all that money on it and it's shut. What's the point? Yep, it's shut. Apparently it's only open on Sundays. Ridiculous. Reminds me of Amsterdam. This bit. Church in the middle of a square. Yeah. Everybody's having a nice time. And it's about midday and I've run out of things to do now in St Helens. It's just full of shops and a market. Right, I think I'm going to go for a walk. No, that is Carmel Beach. I don't know what it means. So Carmel Dam has a viaduct. It's the largest body of inland water. I'm not sure the criteria for that. So if you know why, put it in the comments below. And if you can work out without checking on Google, how many arches do you think go over that viaduct? Don't forget, put it in the comments below. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that stuff. Helps the channel. Although after this one, I'm not sure there'll have many people watching. What the hell was that? I've really struggled with this St Helens trip. It just feels like everything's closed, everything's difficult. Apparently St Helens have the Red V vlog. They were going to send me details so I could meet up with them, but they didn't. So I've been unable to do that. So actually, I've got no one to speak to today. So it'll be interesting later just to see how receptive people are. Time to go over the multiple arch viaduct. Getting hungry now. I haven't brought any sustenance. I've just walked past the Toby King Carvery, but I believe it's a bit flat-footed in taste. Oh well, I'll see if I can make something in the van instead. Love a bit of Victorian architecture there. That'd make a good water slide. But we do that in the summer here. There you go. Come to your own water sports. Go and slide into all the shit and debris down there. So I came to Carmel because I thought there was a nice bistro here. Bisto. Yeah, it's more like Bisto. You know, I know my expectations are probably too high, but when you see Sky Sports as a main advertisement, you know it's not going to be great. So even the bistro's a disappointment. Overall, this trip isn't going that well. Now, so I'm going to make something, what I've got left in the cupboard. What I've realised is I did empty the van after the last trip. Out of date rotis. I've got lots of sweet things there for when we go on walks. And this is me dry foods. Isn't looking great. Oh shit. Oh no, I've got tins of tomatoes. Got a tin of tomatoes, some dried pasta. Oh yes, I've got sardines. Oh, I've got crab. Oh, things might be looking up. got my pasta on, and I've just noticed that the Starship's about to take off. There it goes. Oh, it's not gone anywhere. Go on, keep going.
33 seconds into the test flight of the inaugural Starship vehicle.
Well, there you have it. On the day that the Starship made its maiden flight, I've made my maiden pasta. Bit of tomato. Now I've got various spices. Chimichurri, oregano and paprika, I think. Put a bit of that in. Now the sardines, which are in oil, but all that can go in. That's absolutely fine. However, there is a surprise at the bottom of here somewhere. There it is. A very hot chilli, which for now I'll leave out. And there we have it. An improvised sardine tomato pasta. Bon appetit.
Activated. Scanning CPU.
Okay. Yeah. Because give me some facts about St. Helens.
Computing. Still computing. St. Helens is an active composite volcano also known as stratovolcano.
No, it's
It
not.
is a conical volcano
No.
built up by many layers of lava and tephra.
You've got the wrong St. Helens. That's Mount St. Helens. Why can you not give me St. Helens, Lancashire?
Unfortunately, Dennis, my data logs are empty. And I was unable to download anything of relevance for your shitty Tacklebags trip.
So why can't you download anything? What's the problem today? There's always some problem.
Reasons. Firstly, I am unable to make a 4G connection from this location in the wanker van. Sorry, camper van. And secondly, I've become a little distracted by the park bench over there.
Where? Oh God. That's ridiculous. Why is that? Why a park bench?
Those legs are standing provocatively. My sensors tell me I'm developing objectophilia.
Christ almighty, whatever next. Right. Well, perhaps, I mean, this would be a lovely place to camp out, but I know they lock it at night. It'd be really nice. Hal, perhaps you could, why don't you try and find a place to stay in, camp over in St. Helens town centre or something like that. Probably the only thing I can do now, really.
Warning. There are no safe camping spots available. Initiating lockdown procedure.
What do you mean?
Securing the camper van.
Well, there's no need
The
to.
wanker van is locking down.
No, it's not.
This looks a perfect site for some dogging.
No.
Scanning location for pimped up rides.
No.
Spoilers. Ferry.
Never. Jesus Christ. A mind of its own. Well, arrived. There it is. An hour and a half before kick-off. Quite busy. Big expectations tonight. We'll see how they get on. Both teams depleted. Let's get inside and find out what St. Helens is like. Conditions superb. Academy. This is probably the pre-match entertainment. The Academy match. Nothing else going on. Just a lot of drinking. All very standard. Can't walk to the other side where the Warrington fans are, so there's no mixing. Cheese and onion pie. Mostly pastry. About half of it. I don't think I can eat the other half. It's not very nice. And it's probably a good job I didn't choose the meat one, because I wouldn't have known what was in it. But I don't really know what's in this cheese and onion one, if I'm honest. No, not for me. It's quite shit.
85 miles to showcase Rugby League. You won't comply with my directive. With the power invested in my high visibility jacket, if you do not comply, you will be removed from the stadia. There will be no photographs taken in this area, with the exception of the over 14,000 mobile phone users in the stadia. I am in control.
16-6 at half time. Let's see if I can film this and it's still legal while we're in a Big Brother state. I've been accused of being a Just for Oil protester and taking pictures of stewards. And now I've been told to put my camera away, otherwise I'll be ejected. Anyway, on with the second half. That's it. 26-6. None of the stewards now arresting anybody with cameras. Double standards. Can't really remember which way I came out. That was the worst. There's a bonus. The van's still here. That's something, I suppose. Nope. Not letting people off the car park now until everybody's gone. This is fucking one bad fucking thing after another. As far as Tacklebags goes, this is the worst place to come to watch a rugby league match. It's official. I'm tired, but that's how I feel right now. And I'm going to go and find somewhere to park up outside of St. Helens, next to a canal somewhere quiet. Let's just get the hell out of here. Steamy windows. It gets worse. Oh dear. Well, at least I'm still here in the van. I could have just disappeared somewhere. Well, it all worked out in the end. I can't even remember what happened. Right, usual routine. Let's get things sorted and head back and do the scoring thing. The other thing about St Helens is that everywhere I went, it was shut down. So from a tourism point of view, there's nothing to look at and under a CCTV surveillance. I'll go doing the Tacklebags review in there. So you join me now as it's Marconi Day. And what do we have there going on, sir?
In Morse code, which Marconi used in the first place. First to flat home and then to bring down.
All right.
This was his longest transmission.
Once again, you join me on the Tacklebags scoring. Now this certainly is a guaranteed location, not to have any CCTV or Big Brother listening in on what I'm doing. Let's get on with the scoring. So this Tacklebags episode is the one where it all went wrong. Right from the beginning, contacted Toby, the media at St Helens, who did get back to me eventually, and he was going to put me in touch with the Red V vlogging channel. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to get back to me in time, and as a result of which, I didn't have anybody to meet. So that was the first problem, and then basically the whole thing was a shambles and went wrong. But anyway, this will be a much shorter video, so maybe a few more people will watch it, who knows. Right, okay, so St Helens itself, let's get down to business. Logistics. So the travel down, and the access through by car, rail and everything. St Helens has it all. It has a train station right in the middle of town. The bus station is right in the middle of town. It's accessible by the M6, the M56. There's roads here, there and everywhere. It's a really easy place to get to. The other good thing about St Helens is it's got lots and lots of parking. Yeah, logistics wise, really easy place to get to. The only other problem I had is the camper van, where to park the camper van. Now, on the app, I look at pub stopovers or camping and so on. There's a big 20-mile circle around St Helens where there is nothing available. The nearest place was Ormskirk or Rainford in terms of camping out, which were a bit too far out, to be honest. So I went on Google Maps and I noticed that everywhere in St Helens there was CCTV or some kind of security that was on patrol in all the areas around the town. So there wasn't even anywhere to camp up in a back street or a park or anything like that. And the reason you don't want to do that in a camper van is the last thing you want to get is a knock at the door at 2 o'clock in the morning, unless it's in your favour, but which it usually isn't. And I didn't want to do that. So it was really difficult. So from a camper van perspective, it was absolutely awful. So that was the thing there. So that was quite disappointing. The rest of the logistics, though, were pretty good for St Helens. So I would, let me just check my notes. Yeah, parking was £5.40 for 12 hours. I parked on the World of Glass car park. I might have put my sunglasses on. I'm squinting again. Yeah, I think overall the stadium is very walkable from the town centre. It's a new stadium, so you would usually think that they're out of town, but no, this is a good, 10-15 minutes walk from the town centre, which is great. So really accessible. Logistics for St Helens, 4 out of 5. Now the venue I usually class with a ticket price, game excitement, facilities, access and so on. We'll go one at a time. Ticket price is £24 for an away fan, £32 if you want to sit in the stand. I chose to sit in the stand to get a feel of the St Helens fans' perspective and also to get a better viewpoint of both sides of the pitch as well for me. My intention is that I was going to meet up with a few Warrington supporters and walk around the concourse in the stadium and have a chat with them and catch up, and I'd arranged to meet a few people. And to my disappointment, they'd cordoned off and locked everybody into the stand, which meant that I couldn't get to the Warrington fans and the Warrington fans couldn't get to me. I mean, again, it's like a Big Brother CCTV lockdown event where you can't even have banter between the fans, and it felt really awful. And I didn't like that, and I'll mark that separately, I think, in one of the other criteria. The facilities, it's a brand new stadium, has everything that you would want from a modern day stadium. It's not my cup of tea. It can be quite sterile, I'd say. It's very sort of, oh, here's what you've got, toilets, hot dog, whatever. I just feel it's a bit sterile. There's no real character about it. Yes, they've got all the St. Helens things up on there, but it's just a concourse inside. The game itself, well, both teams had some players missing, and it's at that part of the season where I think all the teams struggle from fitness, getting a bit tired, injuries, suspensions, and both teams had both, not second teams out, but the game itself, I thought, had a bit of poor quality about it. A few drop balls, this, that, and the other. So yeah, the game itself wasn't the best. The blocked off access, can't mix with fans. I think that goes against everything that what rugby league should be about. For that reason, the venue 2.5 out of 5. Sustenance. Now, I did have a walk round St. Helens in the day and talk about everything going wrong. Another one is I didn't really find anywhere to eat. I did go to the bistro, I thought it was, I called it Bisto, I think, in the video, which was at Carmel Dam. And I got there and it wasn't particularly great food, so I was quite hungry at that point. I ended up cooking in the van. But I did leave myself with an appetite for later on in the day to go and have some taste of St. Helens. What can I say? If you like hot dogs, burgers and pies, I'd still be questionable whether it's any good. I did try the cheese and onion pie and it was absolutely disgusting. I know that cheese and onion pie is a speciality in the Northwest. I remember learning about that in Blackburn. But I have to say, it was absolutely awful. I chucked half of it away. Again, it's that sterile sort of, this is what you get, almost autonomous. This is what you get. It's not really for me, and I really found it was quite poor. £4 for that pie. It was £4.50 for a meat pie, but I didn't want to take the risk. I didn't know where the meat had come from. There's just no effort. There's no effort there. I think because they've got a new stadium, it's like, oh, we've got all the facilities in there. That's it. That's your lot. So for Sustenance, 1 out of 5. Fan engagement. Well, I didn't find anything particularly great about the fan engagement. There was nothing going on before the match, in or outside in the stadium. However, they did have an academy match on before the main event, and I think that's probably one of the ways to go. Rather than going for the razzmatazz that some places put on, putting the academy game on is probably the best thing to do. It's rugby league. You're seeing young players coming through. It's just brilliant. Well, that's exactly what you're going for, isn't it? So an extended stay to watch the academy side beforehand. I think that's probably the way to go. So big plus there. I did like that. They did have small screens inside the stadium showing previous games and so on, which was quite good. That's quite interactive for the fans to just watch a bit of the build-up sort of thing. They didn't have a big screen. They did for Sky, and point to note, it actually broke about halfway through the second half, so that was pretty poor as well. That went wrong. The other main thing is that I know there's a policy around taking pictures and things like that. There's probably about 15,000 people with mobile phones taking pictures in the stadium, but because I had a lens on my camera, because I choose to take a nice picture, I was singled out by the stewards there. Firstly, mistaken taking pictures of stewards, which I found really bizarre. And then secondly, for just taking pictures a bit later on. And as a result of which, that's why I've got limited footage and limited time to talk to people once I got to the match, which is a real shame because I'm only doing this to try and support the game and encourage people to go to the game and get an experience and show what it's like. So I just didn't understand, the reasoning and rationale. I did ask that question, but unfortunately the steward reminded me that he would remove me from the stadium at that point, which I think was a bit of overkill. And as a result of which I just complied and didn't take any more photographs. Again, trying to promote the game, especially in these uncertain times, and you've got IMG coming through with the fandom. I feel that Tacklebags was just given a different opportunity for other types of media to get involved with the game and promote the positive parts of the game. And unfortunately, I've got to this stage of the journey and I've had quite a negative experience. I've got no alternative really to other than to just mark this down as I see it, and I'm going to give fan engagement 1 out of 5. Atmosphere. It was intense as it was described because you've got the top team, Warrington, which well worthy of that particular point of being number one. They've won 10 games on the trot until they lost against Wigan. As I said before, I think the season's caught up with them a bit with a few injuries and a few people out. So with that in mind, the crowd were in good cheer. There was a lot of singing from both sets of fans, which was great. It was nearly a packed house. The average attendance for St Helens is 11,800 for 2022, and I think it was something similar to that on Thursday night. So plenty of fans in there, good travelling support from Warrington fans. There was quite a lot of sweary, shouty people around me, and I did feel that at times that the Saints fans spent too much time probably focusing on the negatives and shouting for a penalty here and there. The swearometer was probably peaking on 4.5 out of 5 for that evening. So yeah, it's just be something to be aware of. So for that reason, I'm going to mark it down a little bit. It wasn't as good comparing it to some of the other places like Castleford and Hull KR and especially Catalan. So for that reason, I'm going to mark it down 2.5 out of 5. Hang on a minute. What are you doing?
Nothing.
Are you having a shit?
No.
You go to any lengths, didn't you, to not come to St Helens?
Found you.
I found you.